The reason money keeps leaving has nothing to do with how hard the work is, nothing to do with the hours, nothing to do with the effort, nothing to do with the sacrifices made, the opportunities chased, or the plans that looked perfect on paper and collapsed in practice. The people who work the hardest are not always the people who build the most wealth, and the people who build the most wealth are not always the ones who worked the hardest. This is not an accident. This is not luck. This is not a mystery. This is a documented, studied, measurable phenomenon that has been sitting in plain sight in psychological research for decades, and almost nobody in the financial world talks about it. What is about to be said in this video will permanently change the way money, work, and wealth are understood. Stay here. Here is what the financial struggle actually looks like from the inside, and this needs to be as honest as possible. The work is being done. The bills are being paid, sometimes barely, sometimes not at all. Money arrives, and then, somehow, without a clear explanation, it leaves. An unexpected expense. A plan that falls through. A moment where financial breathing room appears on the horizon and then disappears before it can be reached. And the question that lives beneath all of it, the one that arrives in the quiet of 2 a.m. when the numbers have been run for the 100th time, is not, how do I make more money? The real question is this: why does the money that comes in never stay? Why does every step forward seem to be followed by a step back? Why does the effort keep going up while the result stays flat? Why do other people who do not appear to be working any harder, any smarter, or any more strategically, seem to have a relationship with money that is fundamentally, inexplicably different? The answer is not what most people expect, and it has almost nothing to do with strategy, opportunity, or effort. Here is the truth that changes everything. Two people can follow the exact same financial strategy, same plan, same market, same effort level. One builds wealth, one stays stuck. The difference is not the strategy. The difference is what is happening beneath the strategy in the part of the mind that neither person can see. In 1990, psychologist Claudia Zayfert at Dartmouth College began documenting what researchers now call the scarcity mindset, a specific neurological and psychological state that fundamentally changes how the brain processes financial decisions, opportunities, and resources. Her work, later expanded by behavioral economists Sendil Mullainathan at Harvard University and Eldar Shafir at Princeton, produced a finding so significant that it was published in Science magazine and has since been replicated across dozens of independent studies on 6 continents. Here is what they found. When a person experiences prolonged financial scarcity, not just temporary difficulty, but the persistent ongoing experience of not having enough, the brain undergoes a measurable cognitive change. The prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for long-term planning, impulse control, and sound financial decision-making, loses access to what researchers call cognitive bandwidth. In plain language, financial stress literally consumes the mental resources needed to make good financial decisions. The person who is most in need of clear, strategic, long-term financial thinking is the person whose brain has the least capacity for it, because the stress of scarcity is occupying the cognitive space that thinking requires. Mullainathan and Shafir calculated the cognitive cost of financial stress and found something remarkable. The mental burden of poverty reduces cognitive capacity by the equivalent of a 13-point drop in IQ. Not because of intelligence, not because of capability, because the brain is running a constant background process, managing the anxiety of scarcity that consumes resources that would otherwise be available for clear thinking, strategic planning, and the recognition of opportunity. This is why the advice to just think differently about money fails almost everyone who tries it. The thinking apparatus has already been compromised by the stress of not having enough. This is not a character flaw. This is neuroscience. The financial system teaches that poverty is the result of poor decisions. What the research actually shows is that poverty produces the neurological conditions that make poor decisions more likely. The trap is not laziness. The trap is a brain under siege, doing its best with the resources that stress has left available. But here is where it goes deeper, because the neuroscience is only half of the picture. Psychologist Brad Klontz at Creighton University has spent 20 years studying what he calls money scripts, unconscious beliefs about money that were formed in childhood, absorbed from family, culture, and early financial experience, and are now running silently beneath every financial decision being made. Klontz identified 4 primary money scripts that block wealth and found that most people carry at least one of them without any awareness that it exists. The first is money avoidance, the unconscious belief that money is dangerous, corrupting, or morally wrong. People who carry this script do not consciously want to be poor, but some part of their subconscious mind associates wealth with threat and quietly, invisibly, engineers situations that prevent money from accumulating. The second is money worship, the belief that more money will solve everything, combined with the unconscious certainty that there will never be enough. People with this script work extremely hard to get money and then spend it just as fast because the anxiety of holding it is greater than the relief of having it. The third is money status, the belief that financial worth equals personal worth. People with this script spend beyond their means to maintain an image of success, depleting the very resources they are trying to project. The fourth and the most powerful is financial fogginess, the unconscious avoidance of looking clearly at financial reality, the unread bank statements, the unexamined subscriptions, the consistent, low-grade refusal to fully confront the numbers, because somewhere beneath the surface the belief exists that the numbers will confirm a fear too frightening to face directly. Klontz's research found that these scripts were not formed consciously. They were absorbed. From watching a parent's relationship with money, from a financial crisis experienced in childhood, from a single comment made by someone in authority at the age of 7 that lodged itself so deeply in the subconscious that it is still running financial decisions 40 years later. The reason money keeps leaving is not the strategy. The reason money keeps leaving is the script that is running beneath the strategy, silently, invisibly, and with remarkable consistency, directing financial outcomes toward the unconscious belief rather than the conscious intention. Every financial plan built on top of an unexamined money script will eventually be sabotaged by that script, not because of bad luck, because the subconscious mind is more powerful than the conscious plan. The plan changes, the script stays the same, until the script is changed. Before the solution, one moment of transparency. Creating this content, the research, the depth, the honesty of what is being shared here takes significant time and dedication. If this message has reached something real today, please consider supporting this work. The QR code is on screen now, and the support link is in the pinned comment below. A free companion PDF for this video is also available in the pinned comment. It contains the written exercises that go with everything being covered here. Download it now. And for anyone standing at a serious financial crossroads right now, needing a personal direct blueprint for their specific situation, private video readings are available through the link in the description. Now, the solution. Practice 1. The script excavation. This is done once and it changes everything. A piece of paper, a pen. 4 questions answered with complete honesty, without editing, without performing the answer that sounds spiritually evolved or financially sophisticated. Question 1. What did money mean in the home where growing up happened? Was it a source of tension, of shame, of pride, of fear, of scarcity? Write the first thing that comes, not the considered answer, the immediate one. Question 2. What is the earliest memory involving money? Not the oldest remembered event, the one that carries the most emotional charge, the moment that still has feeling attached to it when it is recalled. Write it down. Question 3. Complete this sentence without thinking. People who have a lot of money are damn. Write the first word or phrase that appears. Do not filter it. Do not improve it. Write what the gut says before the conscious mind can intervene. Question 4. Complete this sentence. Money always. Again, first instinct, not considered response. Read back what was written. What appears is the script, the actual operating, currently running set of beliefs about money that have been directing financial outcomes, not from the conscious mind, but from the automatic, deeply embedded programming that formed long before the conscious mind was fully developed. Seeing the script is the beginning of the end of its power, because a script that has been named can be examined. A script that can be examined can be questioned. A script that can be questioned can be rewritten. And a rewritten script changes every financial decision that follows, not by force, not by willpower, but because the subconscious instruction has changed. Practice 2. The Bandwidth Recovery Protocol. This is done daily, and it directly addresses the cognitive bandwidth problem that scarcity creates. Every morning before financial anxiety has a chance to occupy the mental space needed for clear thinking, 10 minutes are spent in complete stillness. No phone, no news, no financial content, just stillness and one question, written on paper. What is one thing that could be done today, one specific, small, concrete action that moves in the direction of financial stability rather than financial anxiety? Not a strategy, not a plan, one action. Because the brain under financial stress cannot execute strategies, it can execute one action, and one action, taken daily, in the direction of financial stability rather than financial anxiety, compounds. Not dramatically, not immediately, but consistently in the direction that the script excavation has now cleared a path toward. The bandwidth returns, the thinking clarifies, the decisions improve, the opportunities that were always there begin to become visible because the cognitive space that was being consumed by scarcity anxiety is now available for the recognition that abundance requires. The financial struggle was never a reflection of worth. It was a reflection of a script inherited, absorbed, and running silently beneath every effort that was being made. The effort was always real. The work was always real. The desire to build something stable, something lasting, something that could carry the people and the purposes that matter, that was always real. What was also real and what nobody talked about was the invisible programming that was quietly, consistently, redirecting financial energy away from accumulation and toward the familiar pattern of scarcity that the script had learned to expect. That programming can be changed, not with positive thinking, not with a new strategy laid on top of the old foundation, with the work of excavating what is actually running beneath the surface and rewriting it with the precision and the honesty that the financial future deserves. The money was never the problem. The script was. And the script finally, specifically, honestly seen, is the one thing that has always been within reach to change. If this reached something real, share it with one person whose relationship with money has never made sense, given how hard they work. Not for this channel, for them. The free PDF with the script. Excavation exercises is in the pinned comment. Download it, do the work, and watch what changes. Subscribe. The next message goes even deeper.